Rivian and BMW get closer to Tesla in the race to wow electric car buyers like you and me, but are they fast enough? Rivian unveils its pricing, colors, and specs for 2021, and BMW finally debuts the iX all-electric SUV. Inside EV's contributor Tom Moloughney will be here to talk about both. All-electric Hyundai Kona gets a slick and sexy refresh. Fisker Inc. goes public, and Henrik Fisker will be here to explain what that means for the production of the Ocean SUV. Waymo talks smack about Tesla with no sense of reality whatsoever. I visit one of Lucid's new showrooms and talk to their CEO Peter Rawlinson about it. GM teases the interior of the refreshed Chevy Bolt while recalling almost 70,000 of the current generation. Porsche unveils never-before-seen electric concepts, Electrify America hits a huge milestone, and Tesla is finally addressing the biggest complaint from its Model S and Model X customers. All of this is coming up next. Welcome to E4Electric, your #1 source of electric car scoop. If this is your first time here, that's okay. All you have to do to remedy the situation is to click that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. Alright, let's talk about Rivian, and they are at the final stretch of a very long 10-year journey to finally delivering their first vehicles in about half a year. They have announced that they will be launching the configurator first for the reservation holders on November 16th, and then for everybody else about a week later, so those who are interested in actually getting one will be able to configure their vehicles. The launch edition will be the first batch of vehicles delivered in June of the next year at the price of $75,000 for the pickup truck and $77,500 for the R1S, that's the SUV. The other two versions that Rivian has unveiled will start deliveries in January of 2022. One of them will be priced exactly the same as the launch edition, and another one is going to be a little bit cheaper at $67,500 for R1T, that's the pickup truck, and $70,000 for the R1S, which is the SUV. None of these are going to be top-of-the-line models with 400-plus mile range and a tank turn. Those will come in 2022. For now, this will be a mid-tier model with 135 kilowatt-hour battery and 300-plus mile EPA estimated range. Rivian has also unveiled a bunch of different interesting colors that you can pick out of for your vehicle. I think all of them are very decent. Let me know which one is your favorite in the comment section of this video. Also, all of the vehicles will have standard Driver Plus, which is a Rivian's version of the driver assist bundle. It will be able to automatically steer, adjust speed, and change lanes, and a few other features. However, it will only be enabled on select highways at launch, but more road types will be introduced through over-the-air updates. I guess this is going to be like Super Cruise, so we'll see. Rivian vehicles will not have a LiDAR, but will have 12 ultrasonic sensors, 10 exterior cameras, 5 radars, and a partridge in a pear tree. Alright, maybe not that, but they will have a high-precision GPS. It will also have a driver monitoring camera, which is kind of like a selfie camera, except for it's not really connected to your Instagram account, but instead to your parents' brains. Son, pay attention to the road. For more, we turn to the Inside EV's contributor, Tom Moloughney. Alright, Tom, so it looks like Rivian is at the final stretch. The deliveries will start next summer, but we're also finding out that we're not gonna get all the cool features of the tank turn and 400-plus mile range. We're getting a mid-tier models for now. Do you think this is a good way for Rivian to enter the market, or do you think that might be a little bit of off-putting to some people?
Well, yeah, it's a little different than what we've seen from some of the other companies that have come out with their first electric vehicle, where it seems like they give us the biggest and best and most expensive at first. But, people criticize them for that. Like Lucid got some criticism. Oh, it's $170,000. When can we get the affordable one? So now Rivian's bringing out one that's a little bit more affordable. So we can't really criticize them for that, I don't think. I think it's just different. I don't think it's a better or worse strategy. It's just a little different. And it's not like it's, not a capable vehicle. It's still a 300-mile EV. The tank turn seems like a cool feature. I don't know how many people are ever going to use that except to show off for their friends. So it's not like, oh, I can't get it if it doesn't have tank turn because I won't be able to use it. So, I don't think it's a bad move on Rivian. I think it's just a different move. And the truck, as it's going to be launched, is a very capable, fully loaded, truck that goes over 300 miles per charge. I think it's a winner for Rivian.
All right, and we know that there is a community that's kind of already built around this brand, but the big elephant in the room here is actually the pricing, right? And we're talking about, even after the federal tax credit here in the U.S., we're talking about $17,500 more than the mid-tier Cybertruck that's kind of coming out, within half a year of one another. Do you think pricing is going to be something that Rivian might have a tough time, especially with other competition, including the Cybertruck?
So, yeah, the Cybertruck seems like it's positioned really well price-wise. It's amazing that Tesla is going to be able to sell it for what they promised they would be able to sell it at. That's something else. And I think it's part of why so many people were excited about it. But look at what Rivian's going against. Look at conventional pickup trucks. Go to a Ford dealership and look at what like a loaded F-150 is. It's $65,000, $70,000. Same with a Chevy Silverado. So it's not like Rivian is 20 or 30,000 more than competitive gasoline pickup trucks. It's really not. It's about the same price, especially when you factor in the incentives. The Rivian's, it's pretty well loaded. It's beautiful inside, luxurious vehicle. It's not like, for 70,000, you're getting a bench seat and, a metal steering wheel. It's a luxurious vehicle that's really capable as it is. So I don't think they're going to have any problem selling them at all at the price that they've announced now.
Tom will be back in a couple of minutes to give his opinion on the second topic of this video. But before that, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by XPeng Motors, China's leading smart EV automaker that has just launched the world's first all-voice in-car system at its annual Tech Day. For more, follow XPeng Motors on Facebook using the link in the description of this video. And by KANDI America. Have you met the most affordable electric car in the US? Check out K27 for under $10,000 after the federal tax credit, or their second model K23 for under $20,000. Deliveries start in a few months, so reserve yours by using the link in the description of this video. Alright, another brand that's trying to catch up to Tesla in the electric car market is BMW, and they're a little bit behind, but finally they have unveiled the iX, which actually used to be iNext. It will have over 300 miles of EPA range, 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds, and it will be able to charge at about 200 kilowatt max charging rate. It will have dual motors, so the specs are okay. However, I'm not really sure if I'm crazy about the looks. The exterior will keep the what I call as a monkey butt front grille. Let me know in the comment section if you like that type of a design, which has become very common with the latest BMW models. And the interior is also, I don't know, it's kind of like IKEA meets Goodwill. Let me know in the comment section what you think about the interior as well. The iX is unfortunately at least a year away from production, and also there's absolutely no word on pricing. So let's bring Tom back to try to make sense of all of this once again. All right, so now we know what the iNext, or as they call it, iX, now is going to look like, and some of the specs. We don't know all of the specs yet. This is a long-awaited, a real electric car from BMW. I know we have a disagreement whether or not the i3 is a real electric car, but do you think this is enough, especially a year from now when it goes in production, to compete what's going to be on the market at that time?
So first of all, the i3 is a real electric car. Stop hating on the i3. They've sold over 200,000 of them, for crying out loud. Okay, put that to the side. I don't love the iX. I don't hate it. I hate that grille in the front, but I don't want to harp on that. Everybody else is beating them up for that enormous grille, but that's BMW's new design language. What bothers me about this iX is that it just seems like BMW is sticking with their, what they're comfortable with, and making an electric X5 kind of, and, given a little bit different styling. What I was really hoping for BMW is that they were going to really take a whole new, fresh sheet of paper and reinvent the SUV, for their electric division. And they didn't do that. They just kind of, gave it a little bit of a quirky look, really good drag coefficient of 0.25, which is amazing for that size vehicle. But, in my opinion, it kind of leaves a lot to be desired. I think the interior is beautiful. It's got a big battery, over 100 kilowatt hours. It's going to have decent range. It's going to be fast, under 5 seconds, 0 to 60. It's more than what you need. We don't need another 3-second 0 to 60 car, for crying out loud. That's more power than what most people need. So I'm kind of on the fence with this. I don't love it. I don't hate it. We don't have enough specifications yet. But my early opinion is that I don't think BMW did enough to differentiate themselves from the pack.
Yeah, and just to clarify, the reason that I may not be counting i3 as a real electric car simply because I usually separate them into 200 mile range plus and less, right? And I feel like 2021, 2022 models, for anybody to consider as a serious electric car contender, has to have over 200 miles. So that's the only reason I'm separating those two. But you said it. You said it. You don't love it, and I don't think we'll find too many people who will love it. And it is going to be a year from now where there will be plenty of electric SUVs and competitive gas SUVs still in the market. Do you think the strategy that BMW has for going electric may get them in trouble? Maybe not in the next couple of years, but 5-10 years down the road, could we be looking at a demise of BMW and possibly I don't want to say the B word, but are they going down on the wrong path as a company?
So, I've maintained for a long time now that some of the legacy auto manufacturers that have dominated the last 20, 30, 40 years, some of them I believe are going to fail. I believe they're not going to be able to make a smooth transition to electric mobility. They're going to hold on to the past too long, and then they're going to realize, wow, it's too late to catch up. I don't know if BMW is going to be in that position. It's still too early, to really make that assessment. I think they lost their edge, BMW. They were a market leader back in 2009, 2010, 2011, when they started BMW i and were really investing in electrification. They seemed to be ahead of the curve, that they were going to be one of the companies that were going to get right out in front of it and take on electrification. That seemed to happen. Then it stalled. There was a change of management with BMW. Their priorities shifted. They went back to focusing on plug-in hybrids and ICE vehicles. And now I think they're kind of saying, okay, maybe we were wrong about this. This whole electric thing is going to come quicker than we thought. So now they're shifting back. There's still time for BMW to get back on the ball. It's still early in the game, but I guess, it's getting late early, maybe. In the next 3 or 4 years, I think we're really going to see which of these legacy brands are able to make that leap and really switch and pivot to electrification.
If you want to hear more from Tom, which I always do, you can subscribe to his YouTube channel, and I put that link in the description of this video. All right, let's move on to the next topic. And Hyundai has unveiled a refreshed version of the all-electric Kona, and I didn't even know it was coming, but once I saw the videos and pictures, I absolutely loved it. Don't forget that they have sold over 120,000 of these in just over 2 years, mainly outside of the United States. And this is mainly a design refresh. As you can see, it's got a new slicker front end. They've added a few new colors, including two-tone. The biggest change on the inside is the 10.25-inch screen and some other features, including transferable profiles and some new safety features. I'm absolutely in love. Let me know if you are as well. But we got to move on to the next topic, which is Fisker Inc. finally goes public, and Henrik Fisker, its CEO, virtually rang the bell on Monday at the New York Stock Exchange. As you remember, Fisker has announced the manufacturing partner, which will be Magna. They have also moved into their new Manhattan Beach headquarters with over 100 employees, growing to about 300. I talked to Henrik Fisker only a couple of hours after all of the festivities, and he explained to me why this changes everything. All right, Henrik, we've talked a few months ago, but a lot has changed since then. I mean, as a matter of fact, everything has changed. Tell us a little bit about what's happening.
Well, today we sort of rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange, which was a fantastic experience, becoming the fifth American passenger car company on an exchange. Which is really great, and the second all EV company, which are American. So it was obviously a really historic moment and very emotional, and the entire team was just, we were all celebrating. It's really amazing. But, the real big change for us in day-to-day life is that we were able to raise about $1 billion. So we have more than $1 billion in cash in our bank. And why is that so important? Because that is capital enough to get the Ocean program to market.
Fisker Ocean is scheduled to go, I just spat on myself. Fisker Ocean is scheduled to go in production in 2022. Now let's talk about the Waymo. Maybe I'm salivating over this story, which is kind of out there, because the Waymo ended up talking smack about Tesla on Twitter. How do you like those damn apples, Elon? Now, this was a reply to another poster, and they didn't really name Tesla by name, though it was pretty obvious, but they ended up essentially saying that their autonomous driving technology is orders of magnitude better than Tesla's. And I don't mean to get technical here, but in mathematical terms, orders of magnitude means at least 100 times better. And this is where I have a problem. Waymo's self-driving technology has only been launched in one particular area in Arizona in very limited numbers, where Tesla has hundreds of thousands of cars with autopilot and full self-driving package. So no, Waymo is not 100 times plus better than Tesla. As a matter of fact, it's not better at all. It's quite behind. Now, I know there is a kind of a dispute on what kind of technology is better for self-driving in general. Waymo, on one hand, relies heavily on the 3D maps and then applies the AI technology on top of that, where Tesla uses mainly the AI technology, but also uses some of the maps that its own fleet continues to generate and send back to the Tesla's mothership. So it's not like there are two completely different camps of which technology to use. They kind of both use both technologies, right? The maps and AI is just a matter of how heavily they rely on one over the other. But to summarize, Waymo is definitely not better than Tesla's technology. I don't think they're anywhere close. As a matter of fact, this is where Twitter might actually jump in and put one of those warning labels on that tweet. Let's talk about Lucid, and last week they single-handedly tripled the number of Lucid Studios out there. All right, so they added 2 locations in addition to the original one in Beverly Hills. These ones are in Century City, that's in Southern California, and in San Jose, which is only a couple of hours away from me, so I figured I'd just go ahead and show up. I got to hang out with some of the staff and some of the visitors, and the feedback was quite interesting. A lot of people were wondering if this was a Tesla, and if it wasn't, what kind of brand this was. They were definitely very interested in the luxury interior, which I always thought was sort of the advantage that Lucid had over Tesla. A few months ago, when I talked to Lucid's CEO, Peter Rawlinson, he had a pretty clear vision of what he wanted these Lucid Studios to be.
So this is our very first Lucid Studio here, headquarters in Silicon Valley. And really, it's kind of an experiment. We're trying out some ideas, some themes that can really find their way through a range of studios that we're opening through this year. And as we run up to launch of Lucid Air in December, we'll have 9 at premier locations right across the USA.
Let's talk about General Motors, and no, we are not talking about the Hummer EV this time. We are talking about the next generation Bolt EV and the crossover Bolt EUV. As you remember, a few months ago, GM released a video of what the silhouette of these cars is going to look like. I was lucky enough to see both of them back in March when I visited Detroit. However, they didn't let us take any pictures or videos, but I kind of describe it as if Prius designer, if Toyota even had one, kind of got a hold of the previous generation or current generation of Bolt and redesigned that. So there you go. Use your imagination. But this time around, GM has released a small video teaser of what the dashboard of the new Bolt is going to look like, specifically the center monitor. Now, both versions of the new Bolt will not have the new Ultium battery platform, but they will have the Super Cruise, which I am not quite sure if I'm that excited about. Meanwhile, Chevy had to recall almost 70,000 of Bolt EVs that were made between 2017 and 2019 for unlikely potential fire risk after 5 of them caught on fire. Now, they don't have a permanent solution for this yet, but they recommend that the current Bolt EV owners that are affected by this do 2 things. One of them is not to charge your car over 90%, and second one is not to park it in your garage. Yeah, park it outside, you know, where your charger is not. All right, so hopefully they'll figure that out. But for now, let's move on to Porsche. And they did something very interesting. They have released pictures of never-before-seen concept cars that they came up with behind the scenes between 2005 and 2019. And there are a couple of them that caught my eye. Okay, so the first one is this futuristic all-electric van. They were trying to go for kind of a space shuttle type of a look. Let me know if you guys like this one. I'm kind of a torn, but the second one, the 960 Turismo concept, wasn't originally designed to be an electric car, but later became essentially a predecessor for the Porsche Taycan. As you probably remember, the Taycan's original concept was called Mission E. That one was publicly unveiled and we all fell in love with it, but it's great to see that there was something before that pushed the designers in that direction. All of the concepts are going to be published in a book that Porsche is calling Porsche Unseen, which I guess is going to be like Tesla's book, except for the pictures are not going to be as exciting and it's going to cost twice as much. Electrify America has just celebrated a huge milestone. They have crossed 500 locations with over 2,200 chargers here in the United States, with some of the locations being able to charge at the top rate of 350 kilowatts, which is the fastest in the world. Now, this is a pretty impressive achievement because they've started only back in May of 2018, and it wasn't very easy to open new locations during the pandemic this year. They are the largest public fast charging network in the United States, and they're planning to add another 300 locations by the end of the next year. Tesla is finally taking action on one of the biggest problems for the Model S and Model X owners that have been reported in the last couple of years, specifically for the 2018 and earlier models. As a matter of fact, I am sick and tired of approving almost daily the posts in my Model S owner Facebook group, people complaining and really frustrated because of this problem. The issue is with the MCUs, which cause either a complete failure where the screen goes dark or significantly slow it down or sometimes freeze it. Tesla is offering the extended 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty, so you'll be able to fix this free if it happens to you, or if you already spent $1,500 on replacing it when it was out of warranty, they will reimburse you. Now, unfortunately, Tesla is not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. They rarely do, but in this case, the NHTSA has launched an official investigation which is credited for this development. But unfortunately, I'm also hearing from some customers that they're actually being turned away because they don't have enough proof of this problem surfacing. So if you are experiencing these issues, make sure to take some videos and pictures so you have some proof. If you're wondering what to watch next, how about my interview with Sandy Monroe, who is a monthly guest on this channel, and this time we talked about the Hummer EV. I put the link to it in the description of this video, and if you're watching me on YouTube, you can also click on it over there in that corner, right? Looking forward to all of your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.